Good morning slash afternoon slash evening whenever you're watching this video class. Today we're learning about names for angle combinations. Those four topics are complementary, supplementary, vertical, and adjacent. I'll take you briefly through these topics. The definitions are also on the sideboard if this goes too fast for you and you need to copy them down. First thing we're going to start with is complementary angles. Now, complimentary as in being nice to somebody and paying them compliments has an I here rather than E. Not that it matters to you, I just thought it was worth mentioning. Complementary is when two angles add up to 90 degrees. Or they form what type of angle? Anybody? A right angle. There's no one in the classroom right now. That's why you didn't hear any responses. But I still wanted to pretend as if I was teaching. Okay, so we have complementary there. Now you may be saying, what does that look like? First thing you do is form a right angle, like I did here. And I'll draw their line there. So this angle here and this angle here, we'll call this A and B for right now. Angle A plus angle B equals 90 degrees. That's what complementary means. Supplementary is when you add up to 180 degrees. Now, if you don't remember, a 180-degree angle is simply a straight line. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a line. If you want to do this at home or in class, you can grab a protractor and measure from this point to this point. It will be 180 degrees. And this is a one rare occurrence where it doesn't matter which side you start with. It's going to be 180 degrees either way. So it's either 180 this way or 180 this way. Anyway, if I were to draw an angle here, and again we'll call this angle C and angle D, you would say angle C plus angle D equals 180 degrees. All right. What else do we know that has 180 degrees? A triangle. All triangles have 180 degrees. It's not important right now, but you need to remember it anyway, so it's worth mentioning. All right, adjacent angles are two angles that are next to one another. If you want to call this next door neighbor angles, you can. I wouldn't suggest doing it in a college classroom, but for now it works. So if I have okay, that's kind of a bad drawing. But I have A, B, C, and D here. You notice that angle A and angle D are next door neighbors. Angle A and angle B are next door neighbors. Angle B and angle C are next door neighbors. And angle C and angle D are neighbors. Any angle that it's right next to would be an adjacent angle. So B and D would not be adjacent, and A and C would not be adjacent. When you have the angle that's across one another, that's called a vertical angle. When two lines intersect, the angle across is the vertical angle. So I have this line here intersecting with this line here, and again I'll have A, B, C, and D. Angle A and angle C are vertical, and angle B and angle D are vertical angles. All right. Again, these definitions are on the sideboard if you need them. For those of you watching this video because you want to learn more about math, I'll leave this up here for a few seconds so you can get a grasp of it. If you post comments in the comments section, I will also address those. Okay, moving on. I was pretty simplistic at the beginning, but now we need to learn how to name angles. One important thing, the midpoint or corner is always second. What I mean by that is typically you form angles and two lines intersect. So I have this line here and this line here. I'm trying to find this angle right here. So I'll call this A, B, C, D, and E. A, B, C, D, E. So I have points on all of these. So if I want to find this angle here, you put the angle sign, which this is the angle sign. It's kind of like a upside down 7, I guess you could call it, but it looks like an angle. You can start with, I'll start with A here. So angle ACE, and just in case you were wondering, that's equal to angle ECA. If you were to measure it this way or this way, it's still the same angle. Okay? It doesn't matter what order you put the first or the last one, but the center point always needs to be the second letter. So what would this angle here be? Okay. Put your angle sign. Let's start with this one. So I start here, travel here, so C is my center point, and then B. The reason C is always the center point in all of these angles is when you're making the angle, C is always the second point you're going to get to. You can't go from here to here because you're not traveling on the lines. It would be like cutting across a minefield instead of walking along the safe path. You can do it, but you might get hurt, and you don't want to get hurt. So this could be DCB or angle BCD. So if they ask you to name the angle, remember that the point where it turns, or the point that forms the angle, is the second letter. Now, when you have intersecting lines like this, you need to use the 3-letter model. And in actuality, I'd always prefer that you use the 3-letter model. But occasionally, they'll just give you an angle like this. We'll call this ABC. if you just have one angle, there's three ways you can name it. You could call this angle ABC. You could call it angle CBA, which I prefer one of these two. But when only given one angle, you can just look at the corner point here and say that's angle B. So it only works if they just give you one angle. I prefer you use the three-letter model, but occasionally somebody will ask you for one letter, maybe on a test or in the book. Sometimes they do that. So if that situation arises, know that this is also angle B. Because they may say, what angle is this? And they'll say A, B, or C. And you have to say, well, that's angle B. But that's a hypothetical situation that I hope you don't run into. All right, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can post a comment. If you're in my class, you can ask me tomorrow. I will be back to answer them. Enjoy. Have a good day.